Hello and welcome again to my channel. So today I want to address some questions that I've been getting in my inbox about how to do your study permit application yourself, the DIY study permit application. So the questions I'm addressing today are the questions that have been consistently coming to my inbox that I feel that everybody can benefit from the answers provided here on this platform. So without wasting a lot of our time, let's get into it. If you watch this video and you like it, please consider giving it a thumb up and share, and please subscribe to my channel so that you will always get notified whenever I release another video. Okay, so let's get to it. The first question here is, how did you calculate the proof of funds for your family? Okay, so I keep getting this question every time. I found out that people are always asking, do you use Aboki rates or do you use official rates? None of this is accurate. None of this is safe for you. There is a site where you can calculate the daily conversion rates that IRCC is using for your POF. So what I did was, from the start, I calculated my POF using Aboki rate. In other words, I found out how much Aboki was selling for, let's say if I want to use Naira to buy Canadian dollars, how much will I take to Aboki? And then I use it to calculate if I was buying so and so amount of thousands of Canadian dollars, how much in Naira did I need? So I did that initially when I started planning. And then before I submitted, I went to look at the official rates on that IRCC website. It is neither your standard official market rate nor the Aboki rates. It is the website where IRCC daily converts the everyday rate the IRCC uses to calculate. So I'm going to add that link to the description box below so that if you need to do your calculation, you can go there and check how much Naira you need for your dollar per day. So this platform is updated constantly. So what was true yesterday may not be true today. Okay. So I did that to be able to do my table, the table I eventually included in my explanation and everything, to make sure that I got the figures correct. But using Aboki rate helped me to prepare sufficient funds for my application. If I was using official rate, I would probably not have enough funds. Okay, that is that. Another question, please, what did you put as the name of school and those other details for your children? So my children are below the school age. In Canada, the school age is 5. My children are below that age, so I didn't apply for a study permit for them. I applied for a visitor's permit for them. So if your children are below the ages of the school age, you can do that. And if you choose to do a study permit for them, I'm not sure that's the ideal thing, but I know I've had people trying to apply for study permit for students for under school age kids. I've heard that some creche also require you to have that for them to allow your children into the creche. So yeah, I did not do that. I did visitors visa for my kids, and it's okay for them to get into creche. Yes, the next question is, I don't know if my wife should apply first and then the rest of the family will apply as the pendant. So this person wanted to know which one is better. If you've been following my story, I applied together with my family all at once, and it was approved. Approval came in 5 business days. So I have always shared this opinion that whether you apply alone or apply as a family does not really matter. What matters is the strength of your application. So the reason most people do this, wife first and the rest of the family, or husbands first and the rest of the family later, is so that they can claim strong home ties. So it makes sense if I am applying and then I'm saying, okay, I'll come back because my husband and kids are still at home. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I have kids, they'll bring me back home. So a lot of people like to use that as a strong basis for their home ties. It makes a lot of sense. So if you feel that your home ties are not strong enough, if you feel that you will not have a very good argument for your home ties, then you can apply first, and then apply with your dependents can apply subsequently. In my case, I felt that my home ties claims were strong enough, so I applied with my family, and it was approved. So evaluate your home ties claim. If your home ties claim or claims are good enough, then you're good to go if you're applying with your family. Even your own evaluation of things. So what I usually advise people to do is put yourself in the visa officer's office. If I was the visa officer and somebody is telling me this, will it convince me? So if you're unable to convince yourself in that case, then you know it won't convince the visa officer. So do a self-analysis, self-condemnation, self-criticism before you go ahead and submit. So look at your home ties. Are they convincing? So if you feel that it's not convincing enough, then you may just want to go ahead first. And then maybe in the next 6 months, your family will be able to join you. Okay. What documents did you use as home ties? Yeah. So I keep getting this one also. Documents I use as home ties. So, like I said, my explanation, my SOP, and my study plan, in my opinion, is very elaborate. It's not long, but very explanatory. So I did a lot of explaining there. So some people feel that if you have lands, and then yeah, it's good to use land as home ties, but land is not a very good home ties. Anybody can sell land at any time. That is the easiest thing to do. So if you're using land as home ties, I don't know. So there are so many things you can use. But in my case, we have 2 running businesses in Nigeria. Actively working staff, members of staff, and an operating business, and we could prove that we have that business. The business is still there. The business will still be there when we leave Nigeria. I believe that is a good one. Beside that, I have a statement of the plans I have for the degree I'm going to study. So it is not just about I want to study this, I want to study that in Canada, and there's no market for it in your country. So in my explanation, in my study plan, I did a breakdown of what I'll do with my certificates when I return to my home country. So I have a plan for my degree upon returning. So that also went to strengthen my home tie like The reason I am going there is not because I want to go there. It's because I have something back here that I am planning right now. It is already incubating. I already have a plan. I have documents of facilities I have secured for that project that I need my degree to facilitate and all of that. So that helps a lot with home ties. So my family and my children didn't need to be in Nigeria for me to have that connection back home. So that's how I claimed my home ties. Okay. Yeah, let me address one more question and then that'll be all for today. How many months statements do I need? Okay, so IRCC says 4 months. So you can do 4 months, or you can do more, but you can't do less than 4 months. In my case, I did 6. So the thing I found out with these applications is that if they ask you for 2, give them 4. If they ask you for 1, in your best interest, do 3. The same thing goes for your proof of funds. So yeah, I think I better take that question also. Yeah, how I'll do that later if I still have time. So the statement you're providing can be 4 months or can be more. But if you can do more, it will strengthen your application better. So I provided 6 months, and there were no lump sums in my statement of balance. If there was, I would explain them. If I had lump sums, I would explain them, but I didn't have. My account opening and the closing, they were consistent. There was no sudden surge in income. All right. So I did 6 months. And there is another question here that how did you know the accurate amount needed for your family? So there is a place on IRCC where you're told how much to prepare for each dependent, including the principal applicant. So for a principal applicant, 10,000 Canadian dollars, for dependent 1, 4,000, for subsequent dependent 3,000, and all of that. I don't know if it's still the same today, but yes. So you know that on our IRCC website. So what I did was, apart from my funding, I added up. Apart from my funding, I added up a little more for myself, and I just basically shut up the budget. Okay, so if you've been calculating for 1 year, if for example you have a program of 2 years, in your best interest, if you don't want to gamble with your admission application, permit application, in your best interest, you want to calculate for 2 years. All right, I know it may be a lot of money and all of that, but if you want to be on the safest side, do not put the minimum expense in your account, because RSS said you need $6,000. So you're showing statement of account for $6,000. Bad idea. If at the end of the calculation, what your RSS says and what your tuition and everything suggests is, let's say 10,000 Canadian dollars, in your best interest, put 13,000 Canadian dollars minimum in your account. If it can be more, that's better. So what I did was to calculate for 2 years. Actually, I calculated for 2 years. That is the expenses for my family. I had funding, and I added a little bit to my funding, and then I did the calculation for 2 years. And that was what my account statement showed. Okay, so that'll be all for today. In subsequent videos, I'll be explaining. I'm still owing you people a breakdown of my SOP and my that is my permit application statement of purpose and my study plan, which I'll really come down to explain and break down here on this channel. So if you're looking forward to that video, subscribe so that you get notified when I drop it. Also, if you've liked this video so far, if you've benefited from it, consider giving it a thumbs up, like my video, share, and help me to grow. Thank you, and see you again.